Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about upbringing of a German and American kid. What does that even mean? It means that my dad was an American soldier in Germany, and Germany had a lot of army bases in the 80s and 90s. Zweibrücken, and in Munich. At some point you'd have to touch in with Frankfurt because Frankfurt was the place that the army was sent to fly back over to the U.S. if they were stationed in the U.S. Anyway, I'm an Army kid. I'm a typical German-American Army kid, and I continue to stay in Germany. I got my family here now. So yeah, I just wanted to introduce this little chat as the German-American chat. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we have a lot of Army kids still living here in Germany, and I'm pretty sure we have a lot of German-American Army kids living in the U.S. So this might be for you memories of back then in the 80s and 90s when everything was like sort of totally at ease and still crazy enough. Sometimes it feels like I'm in a cotton, fuzzy-wuzzy memory blur when I go back in time and remember how it used to be here when I was an Army kid. I really liked it. We felt safe here in Germany. We had our bases, and the MPs, the military police, they were on base taking care of things, and everybody knew how to behave. There was no craziness going on, and I really liked that. I enjoyed that here. I was really happy Army kid, and I was just wondering if there's a community, probably there is, of a lot of Army kids that still live in Germany, or Army kids that moved to the U.S. And I'm talking about Army kids that were had a German mom and an American dad. That's the kind of Army kid I'm talking about. There are many of us. Oh, I love coffee, guys. I just love coffee. That's probably very German of me. At least I used to think so. So I decided to stay in Germany for the last couple of decades, and I like to go to the U.S. to visit my family that has decided to stay in the U.S. So yes, you do have to, at some point, you have to make a decision. Am I going to stay in Germany, or am I going to go over to the U.S. and sort of live my life in the U.S.? That's a thought that you had to go through. So I had my life here in Germany quite intense because my grandparents, I was very attached to my grandparents, and they stayed here in Germany. So they always thought like being in the U.S. is a bad thing. Like, oh, you're so far away. They're so criminal over there. They had this old foggy imagination of the criminal series like U.S. And I was like, no, it's actually pretty boring. We stayed in Louisiana, and I thought it was so boring. If you didn't have a car, it was boring. And on the other side, it was beautiful. I love the clay type of earth in Louisiana. I love the forests in Louisiana, the craziness of the swamps in Louisiana. I really love that. I love the heat, and I love the cricket nights and the starry nights. You could look into heavens and see like so many stars. It's crazy. And if you're in Germany, especially where I am now, there are hardly any stars you can see. On a very good, cold and starry night, you could see a couple of constellations, and it's quite nice. It's nice to look at. Not really like it feels if you're in the U.S. Like it feels if you're driving on the highway in the middle of the night just because you just came back from a party with a bunch of cousins and friends. The whole cousin and friends thing in the U.S. is totally different from here in Germany. Germans and Americans are very different. As humans, we're all alike, I know that, but Germans and Americans are really very different, I just have to say. And I wanted to just introduce this series of German American in my podcast because I think it's a special topic. And yeah, I wanted to start off today with just introducing that and some thoughts I have on that, like the starry nights in a country that is very large, and the population isn't so squashed together where there's a lot of free room. The German dream is I'm going to go Route 66 and drive straight through the U.S. That's like in a German dream. I don't know if it's an American dream, but it's something that is very, very significant and understandable. In Germany, you can't do that. You can start in the morning from Hamburg and get all the way down to Munich, I think about in 10 or 11 hours straight through Germany. And we have a large population too. Germany has bling population compared to the US that has bling population. So that's the first thing that's totally different, the population. Also, and this is like I'm getting on a tangent here. I went to American school up to 7th grade, and all we did in history was talk about American history. We only spoke about American history. Once I got to Germany, we spoke about like every history: French, Spanish, American, Russian, everything. German too, but it was like totally different. So I think when I was in my youth in the US, I didn't get much of what was going on the whole planet. I didn't really investigate that. People weren't like advertising that. What I did have was, once I came to Germany, I noticed the Germans have a broad, and even the Europeans, just the Europeans in general, have a very broad interest in what's going on the complete planet, on the whole planet. Of course, the internet has brought a big change to that. I'm aware of that. But when I used to live in the US and go to school there was no internet. And you just had to rely on the news or the papers, or if you had to talk with grandma in Germany, she'd tell you this is going on here. Like back then, I think it was Chernobyl and stuff like that. And you were like, oh my God, it's scary in Europe and Germany. That's not even true. And on the other hand, like I said, the Germans would think it's scary and criminal in the US. And that's not true. And you'd have to compare the two different demographics anyway. So a lot of people don't know that. But if you grow up as a pre-mixed nationality type of person like me, German and American, it's kind of obvious that each country just has their good sides and bad sides. In the end, humans are just the same. I'm just saying. So this is the introduction, guys. Please comment and tell me if you have any experience as a German American kid, Army kid, preferably, because we did have a lot of things in common. So we had the commissary and the PX and stuff like that on base in Germany, and it was like a little world of its own. And once you passed the gates where MPs would check your ID card if you want to go back in, now that was really stupid. That happens to me like often. The MPs would check you if you get in. I think the MPs check you if you go out too. I don't remember that. And then you'd be in this German surrounding, and you could understand German. I could, because my mom is German and I could talk to Germans, and it was really totally exciting, guys. Let's talk double nationalities. Let's talk German and American Army kid. I just wanted to introduce the idea of talking to you guys about having two nationalities, being a German American Army kid and living in Germany now, or maybe you're in the US and you're missing Germany. I always miss the US. That's why I go there every now and then. It's just expensive to travel nowadays, now ain't it? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't continue to do it and to create for yourself. Okay, I've been knocking over things and scratching the microphone and stuff. I should stop. That's maybe a sign. I'm not even sitting up straight. But since it's Saturday and you guys know I'm the Saturday girl, recording Saturdays, I want to keep this up. And that was a thought I had I wanted to share with you guys. So I hope you have a good week coming up, and share any thoughts you have in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. I will see you in the future. Stay safe, stay happy.